Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. And what the heck are we doing out here? Well, I'm starting a new series called Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. My existing cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef, got so full I couldn't fit any more recipes in here. So I decided to go on the road and do a new series, again, Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. Now, if you're not an outdoors person, please do not run off. All of the recipes that I make in this series are easy recipes you can make on a 2-burner stove camping, but you can also make them at home. They're very easy and they're quite enjoyable. Now, in this introductory episode, we're going to make the Great Outdoors Omelet. It has ham in it, onions, mushrooms, cheese, absolutely delicious, and it will power you through your day, whether you're hiking through the woods or the mean city streets. It's totally up to you. But I hope you will watch because this omelet is delicious. So come on, let's cook. Now let me point something out to you. Cooking at home and cooking in the great outdoors, and we're in Georgia's beautiful Chattahoochee National Forest, is very similar. I have my stove all ready, I have a supply of fuel, a little bit of water over there in case a little bit of something goes wrong. I have my spatula at the ready. Then over here, I have my cutting board, my food, my knife, my trusted knife. So you can see it's just like home, except we're in the great outdoors. I have my plate, my salt and pepper, my knife and fork, all at the ready. Now the only real difference in camping outdoors is I also have my raincoat. You know, just in case things get a little bit wet out here, I'm always at the ready. So that's really the only thing that you're going to see in cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef that's different when I'm making a meal, especially on a morning like today when it is a little bit overcast and there's a chance of showers. So I always like to be prepared, and that way if a shower comes rolling in, I can grab my stuff and pack it away. So wow, what a beautiful morning. The fog is starting to burn off. I think we are going to see some sunshine before it rains later this afternoon. So let's start cooking. So just to let you know, Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef is a 2-track program. I'm going to show you how to cook outdoors. Again, you can make the recipes at home, but I'm also going to show you the step-by-step way to camp. So there are sister videos, a sister set of videos on my website, StepByStepChef.com, that will show you how to camp. And they're really fun, so I hope you'll take a look. Now here are the ingredients for our Great Outdoors Omelet. We have 2 eggs. We have an onion. We're going to cut about a 1/4 cup of that onion. We're going to have about a 1/4 cup of Fiesta blend cheese. I'm going to take about half of one of these ham steaks, which will come out to about 1/3 to a 1/4 cup diced. And then we have mushrooms. That's going to be about a 1/4 cup of mushrooms. And then I have some toast at the ready. And the other thing we have is some butter. So we're going to use about 2 teaspoons of butter. So let me show you how to put all this together. Okay, so I just rinsed off our mushrooms, and as I cut the ingredients, I'm going to put them right into this pan, and we're going to saute all of the ingredients. So I'm just slicing the mushrooms. These are about 1/8 of an inch thick. Oops. These will cook down nicely. This omelet is going to taste delicious in the great outdoors. Now, with this Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef series, I'm going to take you to several different campgrounds and national, state, and local parks across the country. So I'm really going all out for this. I love to camp in the summer anyways, so this is really kind of a thrill for me to get to work and camp at the same time, and along with a lot of hiking and some swimming and some you name it. So I'm just going to put these in the pan. And those will cook down to about a quarter cup. Here's our onion. I'm just going to score the top of the onion, going this way first. Nice thin slice. If you want big pieces of onion, make these lines further apart. But I like it fine. I like the onion really mixed in, gives it a nice sweetness. And then I'm just doing this perpendicular to those lines we just made in the other direction. This is a cool way to slice up your vegetables without having to bring a lot of equipment. When I travel, I try to bring as little equipment as possible, and that includes doing this cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef series, because you don't want to get buried in a bunch of stuff that has to be moved around. You'll see. If you go out camping, if you take a look at the Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef videos, and you learn how to camp, you're going to see how much of it involves moving stuff around. So I'm just moving the onions over. And in that camping series, I am going to go in painstaking detail about how to camp, from all the equipment that you need to planning what kind of campground you want to go to, which is critical because the equipment's going to be based on where you want to go. You don't want to bring high alpine, cold weather, four-season tent out into the desert or down to the Everglades, because you will get wiped out. You will get cooked. So there's a lot of considerations, but it's actually quite simple once you decide where you want to go. And I'm a three-season camper. I tend not to go up into the snow. I just don't enjoy it as much. If there was some major thing that I wanted to see, yes, I would do that. But that's not the most important thing to me. You know, this is a ham kind of morning. I think I'm going to add a little bit more ham to this. This is going to be delicious. Again, you can make this at home, and you can watch my, if you don't want to camp, you can watch my camping series and pretend you're having this out in the woods. Wouldn't that be fun? Put on your raincoat, sit in the living room. You know, I might do that when I can't travel. That's actually sounding good to me. Okay. Now let me move this aside, and then we'll just whip up our egg mixture. Now, if you're cooking out in the woods, practice safe food handling, just like you do in your home. So if you're working with eggs and ham or any kind of meat, something that needs to be refrigerated, make sure to get the food into the refrigerator, you know, back into your cooler as soon as possible. Don't leave it out in the summer heat, in the summer sun. Because it won't cook in nature, it will become dangerous in nature. Little organisms will grow, and you might end up with a bellyache. So I have the 2 eggs, and then I'm just adding a splash of water. And what that water does is it helps the eggs to fluff up as we're making our omelet. And this omelet is for 1 person. I usually make a 3-person omelet, which I would use, a 2-person omelet, and I would use 3 eggs. Why? When you're up in the mountains long enough, math is the first thing to go. But it's just me out here camping, so I'm going to make a 1-person omelet. And I want this to a pretty smooth consistency. You can have these little egg windows, I call them, because when we make the omelet, that's going to be a critical component. Okay, that's good. Now, meet me over at the stove. Okay, so here we go. We have our stove all set up, and I'm not going to harp on it. Okay, I am. Please read the instructions on how to use a propane stove before you start cooking in the great outdoors. You really want to understand this. Probably the most dangerous thing when you're cooking with this that can happen is during the lighting phase. if you start up this part of the burner and you have the gas running and gas builds up and then you put a flame to it, you might get a flashback. So just be careful with that. If you smell gas, turn the burner off, let it off gas, turn it back on, and then light it. I like to use a fire starter to get this going. Some people use matches. I find when I use matches that usually getting it down in there results in me feeling a little bit of a singe on my fingers. Some people are good flickers. They can flick it and get it to start. I never mastered that. So let me just turn the gas on. I can hear it hissing. And there we go. I don't think you can see the flame, but there is a blue flame there. And I'm going to lower that flame down because we want a slow saute. I don't want to super fry it. And every stove has a little bit of a different feel to it. So as you adjust the flame, you might put it out here and there and then just light it back up. So here's my saute pan. Got a little smoky because I had prepared some of the other ingredients, the vegetables, and cut them into this. So I'm just taking the butter, spreading it on the bottom of the pan. Let me give you a better view. Because this is the Step-by-Step Chef. I don't like to skip steps. Even if you want me to, I won't. Okay, there we go. So you can see that is rolling. And now I'm just going to saute our veggies. And it is important, even when you're cooking out in the great outdoors, to prepare your ingredients ahead of time. You don't want to be racing to do this while you're cooking the egg or preparing the egg and going back and forth. Try to get all the prep work done ahead of time. Now what I'm looking for with this is for the onions to start turning clear, a little bit translucent, which means they're cooking through. You don't want crunchy onions. And I want the mushrooms to cook down a little bit too. And because it's the Great Outdoors omelet, it doesn't matter if it gets a little smoky. That's part of the fun. So this should take about, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. The mushrooms can be a little stubborn. Some mushrooms cook faster than others. These look like really fresh mushrooms, so they might be slow cookers. Try to get the mushrooms down toward the bottom of the pan so they cook a little faster. Another option, if you don't want to do the all in the pot, all at once approach, would be to start sauteing the mushrooms first and get them to cook a little bit. But this will turn out fine too. It'll also give the ham a chance to give up some of that hammy saltiness into the mix too. Now, you don't want this to be a seared event, so if you find that the pan's getting too hot, just turn it down a little bit, and that should be fine. In the camping videos that I'm doing with this series, I am going to describe the different kinds of food and equipment that you want to have with you. Some of the basics, and then for each recipe I'll do the same thing. So you'll know ahead of time what to bring up when you're camping. In most cases, when I'm camping, I'm within about 50 miles of a supermarket. Sometimes 25, sometimes it's right in the campground itself. National parks have a tendency to have really nice little grocery stores. But it does help if you bring up most of the stuff, most of the ingredients you'll need, just so that you're not riding back and forth from the store all day. So kind of plan your menu ahead of time as much as you can. At the same time, you want fresh food, so you don't want to bring so much that you can't keep it fresh in your cooler. So it requires a little bit of finessing, so try to keep it simple in the beginning. Look at how that's cooking down. I wish you could smell this. I hope a bear doesn't smell it. Otherwise, I'm going to wish I brought my track jacket instead of my raincoat. I'm just kidding. I've only had close encounters with bears a couple of times in 20 years. And they were polite, and I was polite, and we all went on our way. I'm going to explain some of that in the safety video on cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. I know I keep plugging that series, but or this series, but it's just so much fun. I just really love sharing this with you. Look at those mushrooms cooking down nicely. Wow, that's going to be tasty. And on Step-by-Step Chef, I will of course have a recipe for this all written out for you. So if you watch the video and you want the recipe, please go to StepByStepChef.com. It will be there. Wow. Great outdoors omelet. The only thing missing is the egg and the cheese. I could actually sit and eat this with a spoon, but I guess then it wouldn't be an omelet. It would just be a guy sitting and eating ham, mushroom, and onion with a spoon. And I don't know what you would call that in French, but it's not omelet. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. I do not want the mushrooms to cook down to nothing. The onions have a nice translucence to them, and the ham, Okay, so now we're gonna start cooking the egg mixture. Now for the egg mixture, I am gonna drop down the heat just a little bit. Again, you kind of have to finesse this. Yep, the gas is down. It's whispering now, and I'm just gonna put this pan on here, my fry pan, and I'm gonna add a teaspoon of butter. I might need less. I'll scoop this off. I just want to coat the bottom of the pan uniformly. I don't want this to be a butter sandwich, so let me get the rest of that butter out of there. And here's the egg mixture. Now, if you're not on a level surface, you're going to find that the egg is going to try to run to one side of the pan. And if that's the case, just give your pan a little bit of a tilt here and there. This one actually is not as bad as my stove at home. So what I'm looking for is these little clear spots in the egg. When they start to turn white or yellow, I know that a basement has formed for the omelet. So when I add the filling, the sauteed ingredients, I know that they won't stick to the bottom of the pan. Run a little hot, so I'm just turning it down a little bit more. And I can see that already those windows are forming. And I'm pretty sure you can see those too. Now what I'm going to do is put our sauté mix on one side of the omelet. There we go. Oh wow, that's going to be nice. Yep. Who would have known that cheese would be the guest star that would give me trouble? And I'm just going to take the cheese. This is probably about 1/3 of a cup of cheese, actually. And just put it on like that. And then I'm going to cover this for about 2 minutes. Okay, let's just take a peek. You can see the cheese is starting to melt. So probably about another half a minute, and that'll be ready. Take the cover off. You can see the cheese is melted. It's not excess water. We'll give this a flip. Now this pan is a little stickier than what I'm used to working with, but there you go. And I will master that as we produce this series. But there is your great outdoors omelet. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made a delicious great outdoors omelet. This is going to disappear faster than you can say Chattahoochee National Forest. See, I told you. Now, if you like this recipe, please go to my website, StepByStepChef.com. There you will find a printable version of this recipe, along with videos and recipes on how to make well over 170 different meals. 170. And they're all in my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef. And this one will be in Cooking and Camping with the Step-by-Step Chef. I know it's kind of complicated for this early in the morning, but take a look at the website, Step by Step Chef. You're going to see a lot more of me. Sorry. So I will see you in the next episode. My name is Larry Richardson, and thank you for coming along for Cooking and Camping with the Step by Step Chef.